Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and it's my distinct pleasure and honor to be welcoming a very, very special and important guest from Bharat. Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, joins me at ITV Gold studio here in New York.
Namaskar.
Welcome. Such a pleasure and honor to have you here. And as I look up the way things have unfolded in the last few years, especially while you are also holding the charge of food and public distribution and textiles. So, what has happened under your leadership, and of course, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji guiding the country, we have reached to a very prestigious fifth largest and fastest growing major economy. So, let me begin by requesting you to share the top three factors that you feel has worked favorably for the growth of Indian economy.
Well, I would think the sincerity of purpose with which Prime Minister Modi has led as a decisive leader, the fact that there's political stability in the country, and the innovative thinking he has brought into India's economic policy, India's political thinking, the confidence that he has brought into every citizen of India that India is a powerful country, India matters, and India has a bright future. Collectively, we used to never think of the nation getting involved in nation building. He has made every citizen recognize his or her strength. He has involved the entire country in every program that he has brought in, whether it is Swachh Bharat, which he initiated 8 years ago, whether it's financial inclusion and digitization. I'm sure you're aware that we did 78 billion financial transactions digitally last year, calendar 2022, which is more than Europe, US and China combined. And the entire nation has now started looking up to a better future, aspiring for a better quality of life. And Prime Minister Modi is right there in the forefront of policy making, in building up the confidence of the nation, and in giving a direction which I think we have never seen before, coming right from the top. So we are truly indeed blessed to have a leader like Prime Minister Modi. The nation is blessed to have somebody who's shown that the world can look up to India. And clearly today, he's the most towering leader in the democratic world.
So before I come to the next question, very briefly, if I may seek your comment on the way policies are formulated, and when we look at the innovative approach of the government, with your background of successful chartered accountant and having investment banker and advice, all that. So is there any place where you felt that your input helped in policy formulation to your satisfaction?
Well, I think that's the good part of working in a team led by Prime Minister Modi, that there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of openness to new ideas, and there's a lot of inclusivity in the decision-making process. Prime Minister Modi is a very good listener, if you have noticed. In any meeting, in any interaction, he absorbs knowledge, he absorbs ideas. He gets into the very detail of any subject on hand. And with his incisive thinking and with the involvement of the entire team around him, he comes up with really out-of-the-box solutions to a variety of problems that we have faced for so many decades. He thinks at scale. He thinks of the government as one entity and has a whole of the government approach. He looks at the contribution of every single person in any project that he comes up with. And I think over the years, there are so many times that your ideas, your thoughts, any initiative that you have brought to the fore have been picked up by the government. If he finds merit in that, he encourages you to go deeper into the subject. And it's really a remarkable experience. And I have said it on more than one occasion that all that I learned in school and college, while doing chartered accountancy or law, or even while pursuing my own career path in management, I don't think I've come across better management philosophy and principles of working than working with Prime Minister Modi.
Would say that most of us agree with you 100%. And if I take a very brief reference to your name, and we are celebrating आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव, तो आपका तो नाम ही पीयूष है, जिसका मतलब ही अमृत होता है. तो इसलिए and kind of responsibility that he has entrusted you right now. Also, you are holding important portfolios like commerce and industry, food and public distribution, and textiles also. And earlier you have served as railway minister also. Now, switching gears to the focus of Prime Minister Modi on NRIs. And I think we here in America, as well as in many countries, we feel more connected to Bharat than what we have previously felt. And right now, as we speak, he has inaugurated 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Day. So, talk to us about your expectation from Indian American community, how they can play more active role in India's success story.
Well, first of all, I say that driving into Edison, New Jersey, one felt so much at home. I saw all the stores which I'm familiar with back home, whether it's Kalaniketan or Nalli's sarees. I saw so many food outlets, and it really felt like a mini India. And the good part about the non-resident Indians, and we have 32 million persons of Indian origin across the world today, approximately, is that while they become an integral part of local communities, they're very benign, very friendly, they become a part of local culture. They do not threaten any country with a kind of effort to dominate. They're friendly in nature, and they maintain their tradition, their original identity in a very subtle way. So they are family oriented, they have the legacy of a rich heritage, traditions, family value systems, culture, which they pass on to their generations even in foreign lands. And in that sense, I think the NRIs really make India proud. And you're right, I'm privileged to be amongst all of you as Pravasi Bharat Divas is being celebrated back home. And we are remembering the day when Mahatma Gandhi came back home in 1915 after nearly 20 years as a Pravasi Bharatiya. And I'm delighted that the legacy that Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji started nearly 2 decades ago continues with even greater thrust and focus on the NRIs. I think all of you do us proud with the good work that you're doing all over the world. I hope you will continue to work with India, engage with India. You will continue to bring back technologies, bring back tourists, bring back trade and investments back home to India. So you really are ambassadors. You're really, the NRIs are people who reflect what the strength of India is, what India truly is. And I think as more and more of the world sees your success, they will recognize the potential that India holds. I think particularly the American NRIs have done a fabulous job in terms of their own performance and successes in the United States of America. And I think you really act as a bridge between other countries with whom we would like to expand our business, trade, technology, investments. And this living bridge that you represent is India's strength.
I appreciate those kind words, and I'm also finding it quite relevant to share my joy that I'm talking to you at ITV Gold studio, and the chairman of ITV Gold was also recognized for his contribution as Padma Shri, as well as Pravarti Bharatiya Samman, and there are others, community members who have also found themselves more intensely and closely working with India. Moving towards your present visit, as well as the status of Indo-US trade relationship. In USA is becoming the largest trading partner with India is the news that we are getting, and I think there must have been some unique initiatives by Indian government, and your negotiation skills are also appreciated on several forums. So talk to us about what is it that India is doing differently or in a different with a different approach which brings Indo-US trade to this stage.
Ashokji, of course, US is our largest trading partner. But more importantly, we are two friendly nations, two important and large democracies, two countries who are very aligned in their thinking about the world affairs, about world economy being open, rules-based, transparent. We are two countries where we have a lot of flow of technology and investments on both sides. A lot of management and technical skills are provided to the US economy by Indians. The United States companies are now looking at increasing their involvement in India, having India in their supply chains as a trusted partner. And whether it's the geopolitical space, whether it's economic and financial world, or whether it's the people-to-people connect. In every respect, I think the relations between the US and India are expanding in many directions. Going forward, we would like to see much more happening between the United States and India. We have very strong linkages with the government of the United States. I have the Trade Policy Forum meetings over Tuesday and Wednesday in Washington. We would also, with the USTR Ambassador Catherine Tai, with whom I believe I share a very personal rapport and friendship, and both of us are very keen to expand trade between the two countries. Sometime in end of February, early March, we'll have the Commerce Secretary, Her Excellency Ms. Gina Raimondo, coming into India for the CEO Roundtable and our commercial dialogue. And with both my colleague ministers, I recently had the first ministerial in Los Angeles of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, under which also we are looking at a group of like-minded countries who would like to strengthen the engagement amongst countries in the Indo-Pacific. On the geopolitical level, President Biden and Prime Minister Modi share a very, very strong equation and friendship. Our Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, is truly a star in terms of his outreach across the world. And he has strong friendships with his counterparts in the United States. Rajnath Singh ji and Dr. Jaishankar both have been actively a part of the dialogue on defense and foreign affairs. Our very illustrious Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, has a very personal connect with Janet Yellen, the Secretary of the Treasury. And in that sense, all of us collectively on both sides believe that India and the US have a very important role to play in the world affairs and will continue to lead policy and will continue to lead our efforts to make the world a safer and better place to live in.
Wonderful. A safer and better world is important for each and every one. And while I'm sitting with Piyush Goyalji, I'm also looking at the way there is a consistency and focus and continuity of positive energy that is flowing with you as well as, of course, with Prime Minister. In that context, while we in India are addressing many of our challenges, including unemployment, so while you encourage foreign direct investment and you are going to be meeting with CEOs. What are the specific key areas that you feel that you would encourage uh, entrepreneurs here to look at in India?
Well, I think India is a land of opportunity because we have a young population, we have the rule of law and democracy in the country, and a huge demand for goods and services, domestic demand, consumption demand. Investors from the United States, when they invest in any business in India, whether manufacturing, services, or the like, will have the advantage not only of a large Indian market, but that economy of scale, the fact that whatever business they would do in India would be at such a large scale that it will be competitive, it will be at very affordable and attractive pricing. They'll not only be able to get a large domestic demand in India, but they'll become competitive across the world. So, to my mind, any business that requires management talent, that requires technical talent, that requires labor in a big way, that requires skills, or that requires natural resources which are available in abundance in India, for all sorts of businesses, India is the place to invest. A lot of businesses are also looking at diversifying their supply chains. They want more trusted partners. They want countries where there's the rule of law and they can really look at expanding their operations and feel safe about it. And they're looking at countries where there are good returns to be made. And I can share with you that India offers the advantage of all of these. Our stock market, investors, the people who have come in from all across the world to invest in India, and our domestic businesses. All of them have been giving some of the finest returns over the last 20, 25 years and will continue to do so in our Amrit Kal as we progress in the next 25 years to become a developed nation where we are looking at inclusive growth, taking prosperity to every household in the country, as young Indians are demanding high quality goods and services. I think the country offers immense possibilities, and investors in every field are welcome in India. We have a very, very inviting red carpet policy. We have a corruption free environment today in India, something which the world had always looked up to. Very strong and robust banking system, a predictive and stable economic policy framework, and a strong, decisive political leadership offering stability, which is very important for investors.
Wonderful. So we'll conclude with two small references that I seek your attention or rather input. One, I'm reminded of Sankalp Se Siddhi, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi puts it. And while we are speaking, 12th January is the National Youth Day, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very much inspired by Swami Vivekananda. I'm sure you also have taken some inspiring ways to reach to your fulfillment by Vivekananda. So, talk to us about what is the National Youth Day and especially the relevance of Swami Vivekananda's teachings.
Well, I think if you look at the fact that India, at its current juncture, when we are really emerging out of the shadows to become a world power recognizes that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, really reflects the ethos of Indian thinking from ages. And in a manner of speaking, Swami Vivekananda epitomized that thinking. We have the G20 presidency, where our theme is the world is one family, where we are looking at one earth, one family, one future. And to my mind, the youth of India today are very, very empowered. They're getting good quality education. They come with strong skills. The talent is unmatched anywhere in the world. And they have fire in the belly to do more, to work for a better future for them and their families. And it is that excitement to contribute to nation building, which Prime Minister Modi keeps encouraging, which is leading the country to newer heights. After all, amongst the large economies, we are the fastest growing economy. While we are fifth largest today, probably 4 or 5 years from now, we'll probably be the third largest economy in the world. And collectively, education and health are going to help us move the economy much faster.
Thank you. I would recollect one quote from Swami Vivekananda where in fact, Rabindranath Tagore mentioned about Swami Vivekananda that if you want to know India, read Vivekananda. Everything about him is positive. And I think that positive approach is very, very important. And as very common example is given that glass is half full or half empty. So I think Modi government and probably most of you in the team are looking at half full. The opposition is looking at half empty many times, but the glass will be completely full. There is no emptiness left. And as I thank you for joining us here. Lastly, just a personal tidbit. You have been so successful as a student, brilliant academic career. Then, of course, in the corporate sector, you were so successful. Typically, the kind of image which we used to have for politicians is not as smart who looks like a film star and who has a lot of options. What was it that made the sort of transition for you to become a politician?
Well, I think after a certain stage, it's time to give back to your nation and to society. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi really inspires a lot of people, and particularly young people, to get involved in nation building, to be a part of government, because end of the day, unless we have good people in politics, we'll really not be able to achieve the kind of aspirations that India has. It's like the computer. Very often, and I remember in our college days when the computers were really new at that time, one of the important things taught to us was it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And in some sense, I think if more and more people with a serious intent to serve the nation with good knowledge and background are involved in public life, I'm sure it will hold the nation in good stead. I always believe that politics is the one medium by which you can impact millions of lives with one signature. And it's that one medium with which you can really reach out to the whole country. I mean, the immense satisfaction you get when you're able to declare India as a power surplus country, or the satisfaction that you're able to double the speed of freight movement in the country in a short span of time, or the satisfaction you get when 800 million people through COVID are provided with adequate food grains. In fact, Prime Minister Modi doubled the food grain allocation to 800 million people from 5 kilograms per person per month. He added another 5 and doubled it to 10 kilograms per person per month for almost 28 months at a huge cost, almost nearly $50 billion he spent on it. But it was so satisfying to see that whereas in the Spanish flu, more people died of starvation than the Spanish flu itself 100 years ago, India can proudly say that through COVID, while the rest of the world was very worried how India will cope up with it, we not only coped up with it very well on the health front, on the medical front, we not only produced some of the best vaccines, which held the country in good stead, domestic vaccines with which all of us are benefited, and we've had over 200 or 2 billion vaccines, nearly 2.5 billion vaccines now, given out free of charge to all Indians, which has made the country safe and secure. But we've also ensured that there was no starvation death in the entire COVID period or even otherwise. And I think all of this, coupled with the fast economic recovery under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, demonstrated to the world the abilities that India today has. And I think there can be nothing more satisfying than that.
Absolutely. And I think being Food and Distribution Minister, what you just mentioned also comes under your sort of a supervision or any, what should I say, you discharge this responsibility, made it happen. And I would be failing if I don't remember Bharat Mata as we are speaking in the month of January, and 26th January, Republic Day of India. As a student, you must have participated in functions which were organized at school, and now as a minister, while you're sitting at visiting, sort of witnessing the parade. And so, what goes on in your mind, and what you would be thinking? This would be a very special Republic Day on 26th January this year.
Ashokji, it's another feeling altogether when you're sitting there at Kartavya Path and watching the tableaus go by, watching our young persons getting recognized, watching the various cultures of India at their finest, the dances, the patriotism that you see over there. India's cultural rich heritage is reflected. Various states and various departments are showcasing their strengths and their achievements. It's another feeling, it's another high. You feel so proud of your country, feel so proud of everybody who has contributed to making Bharat such a great nation. You feel so proud of your armed forces, all three of whom, the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, have kept us safe and secure. You feel so proud of the paramilitary forces who have protected our citizens over the years. You feel proud today when you see a Jammu and Kashmir tableau, which is finally an integral part of India. You feel so proud when you see the Kashi Mandir reflected over there, which has now been rejuvenated as one of the finest areas. And you know, I recently went to Banaras, and I saw that from a time when it was so difficult to even go to the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Today there were thousands and thousands of devotees and tourists at the Kashi Vishwanath corridor. When you see the Mahakal temple, which has again got a new look altogether, when you see the Ram Mandir coming up, which will be ready before the end of the year, all of that reflected on your Republic Day parade, it truly is very, very exciting, invigorating, and gives you a new high and enthuses you, encourages you for the days ahead, for all the work that you have to do.
Absolutely. Such a pleasure listening to you. I was also transported to the feeling of being one with the spirit of Bharat, and that sustains us here, whether we have taken citizenship of another country, but we were born there, and that land continues to inspire us and helps us move forward. Once again, grateful that Minister for Commerce and Industry, as well as Food and Distribution and Textiles, Piyush Goyalji, joined us here at ITV Gold studio with lots and lots of good wishes. I'll also say Bharat Mata ki jai in your presence. And
thank you very much, Ashokji. Thank you. Please convey my thanks to Dr. Sudhir Parikh also for for giving me this opportunity. And through you, my warmest greetings and wishes on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas to all my fellow Bharatiya colleagues and NRIs in the United States of America and other parts of this world where you are very popular. My best wishes to ITV, and may you have a very, very successful future.
Such a pleasure having you here, sir. Thanking Piyush Goyal and thanking all of you with lots of good wishes. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.